Please join me in welcoming Dr. Madam Sarah Chain, Dr. Lake Farul Jason, Dr. Fadila Green, and accompanied by Sister Kauthar Bano. Please be welcome. Our honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start with our event for today, let me greet you like I'm supposed to do. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa tayyibatuhu wa barakatuh. May peace be upon you. We are indeed honored to have you all here tonight. But before we proceed any further, let us begin with some beautiful verses of Al-Quran Al-Kareem recited by our brother Majid Pashkandi. Please be welcome.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. يا أيها الذين كفروا لا تعتذروا اليوم إنما تجزون ما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا توبوا إلى الله توبة نصوحا عسى ربكم أن يكفر عنكم سيئاتكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار يوم لا يخزي الله النبي والذين آمنوا معه نورهم يسعى بين أيديهم وبأيمانهم يقولون ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. يا أيها النبي جاهد الكفار والمنافقين واغلظ عليهم الله العظيم.
Sadaqallah al-Azim. Thank you, Brother Majid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first International Women's Day in the International Islamic University of Malaysia. My name is Nurjuma from Palestine, doing major political science, and I'm really glad today to be your MC. So, why are we here tonight? Probably the first answer that will come up to your mind is we are here to celebrate the International Women's Day, right?
Yes.
All right. That could be possible. But let me say it clear for you. What is your intention of being here tonight? Probably some of you are here to show their support and gratitude for having women side by side with men, while others are here with a fully prepared mindset. They came while they are thinking that we are here to promote for the feminism movement, or we are here to call for the equality between men and women. Well, we are respecting both opinions, but let me ask you a simple, sweet favor, which is give us the full opportunity to clarify our mission for tonight through our event. Thank you. Alright, by now we'll start with the first session of tonight's program. So let me introduce the Vice President of As-Salam Club, Sister Asma Al-Hussein, to give us her speech. Please be welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. Associate Professor Dr. Fadila Green, Dr. Laith Saud Jassim, Madame Sarah Chiney, Dr. Bashir Swadhi, Sister Kauthar Banu, and Dr. Nail Muhammad Kamel. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessing of Allah be upon you. On the International Women's Day, we, As-Salam Club, are glad to welcome you to this event. We would like to thank you for honoring us with your presence. As-Salam Club believes strongly in the leading role of women in the society. They are half of the society and represent a fundamental pillar of its structure. From this perspective, the idea of the revival of International Women's Day emerged to coincide with their day designated by the United Nations and observed on the 8th of March every year. We stress and emphasize that every day is Women's Day, celebrated with men as the other half of the society. Rights and duties, cultures and norms, permissible and forbidden things, stories and legends, all are woven around the women's theme, and when it comes to talk about them, speakers get tense and voice dissent. Debate and argument arise despite the fact that women issues are simple and don't need all these differences and conflicts. Our religion defines everything, gives rights to their owners, and explains everything detail. Nevertheless, we discuss matters and argue about them, although they are settled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here in this event, we highlight the struggle of the Muslim women, provide solutions to the problems they face in their universities, environment, societies, and homelands from the perspective of the Quran and Sunnah. Women's voice should be heard by everyone because a woman is a mother, a sister, a wife, and a daughter. At Islamic Club, we created space for this voice. We present the problems to you so that you contribute to the solution. We are sure that you will light our path with your thoughts and guidance. You are a highly educated class, and from you the hope stems. We would like to say that IIUM is having environment that is very supportive for the nurturing of Muslim women, and any suggestion given are only to make IIUM a better place, and we appreciate that we appreciate the administration for working hard for making it possible. Thanks to the Islamic Club President, Brother Ahmed Al-Haj, who supported this idea and helped us to bring it out so that women take and enjoy their rights. Thanks to the Islamic Club, which I represent today, I see hope in you, and I repeat that our women are the protected honor. Thanks to the program's director, Sister Sukaina, for every effort and sacrifice she has made for this program. And many thanks. And many thanks for her working group as well. Administrators, academics, students, thank you all for your support. Thank you all. And please remember the word of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I ask you to treat your women well and take care of them. Let's treat women as our religion teaches us to do. استوصوا بالنساء خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Are you enjoying your time? Yes. Too short, so I have to get it down. Alright. Do you like to watch some videos for now? Alright. Let me start with a question. I love to start with questions, so we think. Well, some minor issues appear to you so tiny, small, and you don't care about it. But for others, it is. Well, some minor issues appear for you so tiny, a little, but at the same time, there are real, serious issues in the eyes of women. So now, let us watch this short movie under the name of Couple Cafe. Let us enjoy. And this is what we said before. Minor issues seems minor, but indeed is a major and important, serious issues that have been faced by women. Alright, now I would like to welcome Dr. Lay to present his speech for us. Please be welcome.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بعد هذه الميديا كلامنا سيكون ميديا، والموضوع الذي كلفت به موضوعا كبيرا وموضوعا مهما، وأعطيت ربع ساعة لذلك، وهو عن الشبهات التي تثار حول المرأة ويتهم بها الإسلام. فنريد أن نضع بعض النقاط المهمة. أولا، الإسلام شيء والمسلمون شيء آخر. النقطة الثانية، القاعدة الثانية: من حام حول الحمى أوشك أن يقع فيه، ومن عاش مع الشبهات سيقع في مصيدة الشبهات. الأمر الآخر أننا أصحاب هوية، identity. يجب أن نستشعر هذه الهوية ونكون صخرة في البحر وليس طينة في البحر. الأمر الآخر أننا يجب أن نعرف من نحن، فإذا لا نعرف من نحن كيف نقول للآخرين ها نحن؟ الجهل بالهوية والجهل بالذات هو أكبر شبهة يعيشها المسلم. فلذلك هذا المعنى في هذا الجمع الطيب الذي يمثل الجيل الذي سيقود الأمة يجب أن يحس أنه هو صاحب هوية. قرأت توينبي هذا أحد المؤرخين البريطانيين، يقول في كتابه الإسلام والغرب والمستقبل. هذا الكتاب كتبه سنة 1947، يعني يوم أو سنة ولادتي. ماذا يقول بعد كلام طويل؟ يقول إن الإسلام سيدخل في القرن الواحد والعشرون في دائرة الصراع، وسيكون القوة السادسة في العالم، وأرجو أن لا يتحقق ذلك. هذا توينبي يعتبر من المنصفين، وأرجو أن لا يتحقق ذلك. سايروس بانس وهو وزير خارجية أمريكا، عندما كان وزيرا طالب الكونغرس بأن يقر الدخول إلى الخليج، وهذا كان سنة 77 بعد كامب ديفيد. فلم يكن هناك الخطة والأجندة لم تكن ناضجة. فماذا قال؟ استقال من وزارته، وزارة خارجية، وكتب مقالة سماها الصراع الحضاري. لم نقل، ليس هذا من صناعتنا هذا المصطلح، نحن عندنا التدافع الحضاري ليس الصراع الحضاري. فقال في صفحتين من جريدة الأهرام، ترجم هذا المقال، مختصره يقول إن بيننا وبين هذه الأمة التي تستقر في الشرق الأوسط صراع حضاري. أمة تعتقد أن لها تاريخا تضرب جذوره في عمق التاريخ، ونحن أي هم أمة تاريخنا منذ 200 سنة، فيجب أن نكون أصحاب القرار في المنطقة ولو بالقوة. هذا ليس من عندي، هذا ما قرأته وشاهدته وأشهد عليه. فلذلك القرآن يقول ويحدد هذا: ولا زالوا يقاتلونكم حتى يردوكم عن دينكم إن استطاعوا، لأن الإرادة ليست إرادتهم. فلذلك الإشاعات حول أن المرأة مهملة أو متاع أو أنها عبدة أو أنها سلعة نشتريها بالمهر، وأن الرجل هو السيد الذي يستعبد المرأة، وأن المرأة ناقصة في عقلها، وأن المهر هو عبارة عن شراء عورتها. هذا من أين هذا؟ ونجد من شبابنا وشاباتنا وفي جامعتنا يتكلمون في هذا، فضلا عن كلام أعدائنا أو كلام غيرنا، نستعمل غيرنا. فلذلك الشبهات سلاحها الأول هو الهوية. لا هوية لك لا وجود لك، لا تاريخ لك لا وجود لك. فلذلك المحافظة على الهوية، والمحافظة على الهوية لا تكون إلا بأن تعرف أبعاد هذه الهوية وحقيقة هذه الهوية. فلماذا المرأة تأخذ نصف الميراث إلى الآن؟ كل سنة وكل يوم والميديا والصحف الميراث والميراث. ما هذا المسألة العظمى التي يعني انشغلنا بها؟ يجب أن تعلموا أن المرأة في ألمانيا لم يسمح لها فتح حساب في البنك إلا بموافقة زوجها إلى سنة 1960. في بريطانيا القانون البريطاني إلى سنة 1940 المرأة لا ترث، الذي يرث هو الابن الأكبر. لماذا؟ حتى تتركز الثروة في يد واحدة، بينما الإسلام جاء ليشترك الناس في الثروة، ولذلك كان هذا التوزيع بالثروة للميراث يقسم إلى السدس إلى الثلث إلى الثمن، تقسيم. ثم أن هذا السؤال سألته إحدى الصحابيات وهي شابة من شابات الإسلام، كان عمرها 18 سنة، وهي رئيسة أول جمعية نسائية أسست في مسجد رسول الله. جمعية نسائية في زمن رسول الله، شيء عجيب. كانت تقول: كنا نساء تخاللن أي يغزل يعمل ملابس من الصوف ومن الخوص ومن الجلد، ثم يتبرع بها للفقراء والمساكين. هذه الشابة المسلمة اسمها أسماء بنت يزيد بن السكن، وهي ابنة عم معاذ بن جبل. تقول: ذهبت إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تقول له: يا رسول الله، غلبنا الرجال على الجهاد. تصور ماذا تطلب المرأة المسلمة؟ لماذا لا يسمح لنا أن نجاهد؟ غلبنا الرجال على الجهاد ولنا نصف الميراث. أول سؤال، أول استفسار سألته شابة مسلمة مثله. من سألت من؟ رسول هذه الأمة المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم: يا رسول الله، لا نقاتل مثل الرجال ولنا نصف الميراث. فنزل قوله تعالى: ولا تتمنعوا بالله خطاب رجيم، ولا تتمنوا ما فضلنا به بعضكم على بعض، للرجال نصيب مما اكتسبوا وللنساء نصيب مما اكتسب، وابتغوا من فضل الله إن الله كان سميعا عليما. كان هنا ليس في الماضي، كان بمعنى كينونته جل وعلا. إن الله كان أي كينونته سميعا، وكينونته بصيرا. لذلك ماذا فعلت؟ لم تقل أوه، رجعت الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر، ورجعت إلى مجموعة النساء. لأنه عندما جاءت ماذا قالت؟ قالت: يا رسول الله، أنا مندوبة النساء إليك، وكلهن من بعدي يقولن قولي: غلبنا الرجال على الجهاد ونصف الميراث لنا. إذا المرأة في زمن رسول الله، وهذه سنة يعلم النساء والرجال الشباب والشابات أن يقولوا آراءهم، ولكن في ضمن الهوية وضمن العقيدة الراسخة، ليست العقيدة التي تلعب بها الأهواء والمواقع مواقع الإحلال، شبكة الملحدين العرب، شبكة العراة، شبكة كذا. ندخل لنسمع الآراء والردود والنقد الذي تنقد به الآيات والأحاديث. لا نستقي من هؤلاء. منبعنا كتاب الله وسنة رسوله، فإذا كنا بها وإن لم نكن بها لن نكون بغيرها. فلذلك جاءت هذه الشابة، وفي مرة أخرى ماذا تقول للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ تقول: يا رسول الله، ذكر الرجال في القرآن ونحن لم نذكر. فأنزل الله تعالى قوله: إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات إلى الآية كلها أعد الله لهم. فلذلك نجد بأن الله سبحانه وتعالى أعطى للمرأة كرامة. أول من أسلم مرأة، أول من استشهد مرأة، أول طبيبة في الإسلام مرأة، السيدة رفيدة. نعم، أول أمينة مكتبة امرأة، سيدة حفصة، وضع المصحف في بيتها ثم يستعيرونه للرجوع إليه، فكانت أول مكتبة في بيت حفصة. مسؤولة عن الوقف حفصة. سيدنا عمر قال أنت مسؤولة عن الوقف. نعم. أول طبيبة في المدينة، لأنه لم يكن هناك رجل طبيب، امرأة وهي رفيدة الأسلمية. أول نيرس، أول ممرضة أختها وعيبة. نعم. أول من اقترحت على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تطوير أن يكون له منبر امرأة كان لها محل نجارة. قالت يا رسول الله أفلا نصنع لك منبرا؟ فكرة إبداعية. قال وما المنبر؟ قالت درجات تقف عليها، لأننا في الصفوف الأخيرة لا نسمع صوتك، فنصنع لك. انظر الابتكار. فقال اصنعي. تشجيع للإبداع والابتكار. السيدة عائشة كانت انتهى الوقت والحمد لله. فلذلك نحاول يعني هذه المعاني على اختصارها. فلذلك أرجو أن تكون ومضات وإنارات يبتدى بها لترجعوا أنتم إلى المصادر التي كتبت عن هذا، لأنكم إن لم تقرأوا لن تعلموا، وإن لم تعلموا وقعتم ضحية للشبهات. فلذلك نحن لا نرد على يأتي سين أو صاد يتكلم على كلام الله. هذا كلام الله المعصوم، والذي في كل مرة نرى في كل عصر نرى إعجاز هذا القرآن في كل جوانب الحياة، مادية ومعنوية ومالية وأسرية في كل زمان. وهو الكتاب الذي كما وصفه الله سبحانه وتعالى لما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء. وصلى الله على سيدنا.
Thank you, Dr. Laith Sarood Jassim, Associate Professor at the Department of Quran and Sunnah at IIUM. Thank you so much for your delightful speech. Now we would like to introduce a different perspective. A video of sisters who have given unique views and definitions about who is gentleman in their eyes. Let's watch it. By now, we have arrived to the main session of tonight's program. Now we would like to invite our honorable speakers to kindly come on the stage and enlighten us with their great experiences and thoughts. I would like to welcome Dr. Naim Muhammad Kamel, Dr. Khalid Ibrahim, with the moderator, Sister Salah Imran.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most kind and He is the most just. He is the most merciful, and He is the most fair. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Saba Adwan, and I am from Palestine, and I will be your humble moderator for today. I stand because I prefer to see everyone, and I feel limited when I sit, so please excuse me. Right now, it is important that we understand why we have chosen to celebrate the International Women's Day in IIUM specifically. So this is the purpose of this forum. What is important to know is that we have chosen to celebrate it differently from how women and countries all around the world celebrate it. Firstly, it's the day. We chose to do it on the 7th of March because it's a Friday, our Eid day, our annual weekend, our weekend, and the day of congregation. Now, that is one thing that is different. But the reason why we chose to do so is to highlight that Islam has given us this right, has given us our position before any feminist movement, before any liberist or secularist has given it to women. And that is what is important today. Secondly, it is important to highlight here that we are in this forum and we are celebrating this day not to feel sorry for ourselves. We are not here to be sad because we had trials and tribulations. We are not here to feel oppressed and to complain about it. We are here to inspire change. Inspire change within the women and within the men. We are not against anyone, and we believe that there are amazing brothers and sisters out there. And I think we should all acknowledge that and clap for all the brothers and sisters. It is important to highlight that we are not here on a feminist movement. We do not want the rights of men. We do not want to be equal to men. We do not want to be treated like men. No. You know why? Because Islam gave us a position. Islam gave us our rights and obligations. And we are here to respect that and to celebrate it. There are three factors that we believe affect or are a part of women's daily lives. The first one is our second half, who are men. Second one is our society. And thirdly, women themselves. Alright? So in order to help us here today, our honorable guests are Dr. Na'il Muhammad Kamal, the Assistant Professor in the Department of Business Administration, Kuliya of Economics and Management. He's also the Principal of Mahal Ruqayya. Secondly, Dr. Fadila Ibrahim, a great inspiration for me personally. She is a lecturer in the Islamic History and Civilization Department in the University of Malaya. So please welcome her. With that in mind, we want to talk about two first important things. Number one, how women can go and succeed without going against, rewind. How women can succeed in what they do and achieve their objectives and go through the cultural barriers, all right? We want to achieve success without going against society and yet fulfilling it without being limited by society. Number two, we want to know how women can be empowered in the eyes of Islam and in the eyes of themselves. Because the greatest enemy is the enemy within us. And that is why we want to know how to do that. With that in mind, we would seek the help of the great Dr. Fadila Ibrahim. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, alaikum salam.
I can't hear myself. Can you hear me? No. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما ينبغي لجلال وجهه وعظيم سلطانه. Dear beloved doctors, guests, students, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for honoring me with this invitation. And I feel honestly a little bit too sleepy and tired to just be honest with you. However, I'll try my best to address the list of issues that Sister Sukaina asked me to address tonight. She gave me a list of things I must talk about tonight. But then I am confused because Saba asked me to talk only about 2 things. However, I'm not a very good follower of instructions, but I'll try my best to be a good student here. Okay, so tonight the first thing I observe is I feel the fire of change in the vein of girls. I feel the fire of change in the veins of girls. And that's something very beautiful, and it's very positive, and it's something normal in the age, in the challenges where the Ummah is really facing right now, in the misconceptions, misunderstanding world we're living today. I understand why girls would feel that way. But I don't know why it's more in UAE. Looks like the brothers are not doing a very good job making sisters happy in UAE.
I'm happy.
And maybe that will make me call myself back to UAE, because I always come to visit you from UAE saying I feel home in UAE and I work in UAE. So maybe that's a call of duty. I must be here more to make sure sisters are happy here. However, this is just a joke. I'm sure all of you are doing very well together because you're here, brothers and sisters, together. This means a lot that you care for a world we live together and we make change together. It's never by one hand that we can come. It takes 2 hands. It takes a brother and a sister, a husband and a wife. It takes male and female to do the change in the world. However, there are a few things we need really to define. Because see, the misunderstanding of issues can lead us to a bigger problems in life. Sometimes we think ideas are only in the head. Ideas can be translated to actions, and what we live every day is actually exploration of the ideas that we have in our minds. So if we have good things happening or bad things happening, it's because of what we have here in mind. And therefore we have to talk about some definitions. We have to make sure that we're standing at the same platform, we're on the same plate, we're talking about the same thing. First of all, the issue of feminism. Honestly, tonight, I was a bit confused myself because the way that the event was presented, many people thought I'm going to be today talking like a Muslim feminist. And I don't want to defend myself because people know that I am not a feminist, and I am not actually to defend myself at all. However, I want to defend the sisters because I know that that's not, even President of Salam and Sister Sama, they say that. But still, the sticker is there. People thought you are feminist because of the sign you have there on the poster and because the way speak up. And that's why I want to talk a little bit about this issue, and allow me as your mentor, as your sister, as your teacher, to highlight this issue. Tonight, I think if we have to celebrate, and the 7th or the 8th of March is never our day to celebrate. Honestly, I think the day we should celebrate is the day the Wahy was sent to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that day we were liberated as women all over the world. That's when our women. That's only when our womanhood made sense. That's when we became when we became a woman of value. And that's why I want to really define a little bit what does it mean, Muslimas, we're women of value. We're women of self-worth. We're women of self-respect. We mean a lot to the world, and we mean so much to ourselves. And that's why I really like the definition of Muslima to be a woman of value. And this because of three things. Because we submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by choice. We're not Muslims because we're born Muslims, because we have that choice. We made that choice to be Muslims. That's the first step of liberation that is handed to us. The second thing is understanding our goal. Each and every Muslimah has a goal and has a strategy, and she has an agenda, and she wants what she wants. She knows what she wants in this world and in the hereafter. I can talk to any Muslimah anywhere in the Muslim world, and she knows what she wants. She wants to become a mother. She wants to become a wife. She wants to be successful woman. She wanted to be a woman of Jannah. Am I right?
Yes.
I know I was right, because this is what each and every Muslim at least think about it. But however, when we call to talk about our rights, we need to know that we're different than those women out there who are calling for rights. That's why I start defining what does it mean to be a Muslimah. Okay? We were granted rights the day Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was assigned to become the prophet of this ummah and prophet of humanity. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not come to liberate the Muslims like me and you only. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to liberate all humanity and all women in the world. See, our mission, our understanding of womanhood is way bigger. It's global, it's international, it's actually can cover the globe. We do not only want to save ourselves, we want to save women all over the world. That's how big our mission is. We want to introduce the world to world of rights presented by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and sent to us by the Wahy, by Allah Azza wa Jalla. So see, the liberation is there. We don't need to talk about that. Therefore, I move quickly to the second step of definition, and I want to talk to you about the history of feminism. What is feminism? Well, you need to know feminism started because women in the world were lacking the very, very basic rights. They were not even considered as Nate was talking a while ago. People were not even considered to be human beings. They were not considered to be voters. They were not considered to have right to put their names on their books. So we had the three waves or three stages of feminism. It started in the 19th century. And the first wave started because women were not considered anything. But this wave of feminism was okay. We can agree with as Muslims to a certain point. Because these women, they wanted their basic rights, which was granted to us by Islam. They didn't have it. So they had the right to fight for their rights. But still they had womenhood in them. So they wanted to be mothers. They wanted to be wives. They wanted to be women, successful women, like us today. But we had different issues at the time. But then feminism moved to another stage. In the 60s and the 70s, womanhood became an issue. Okay? So women were actually trying to exceed the nature of womanhood. So they were trying to be against marriage, against motherhood. They were trying to be against being a housewife. Just liberation means having a job, being liberated from household. So this is what it means in the 60s and the 70s. And then there is the feminism of nowadays. And this type of feminism is really funny because those women right now, they are talking about post-feminism. So there are two groups of feminists right now. Feminists who are talking about, just getting out of nature. Do whatever you like, basically be an animal. Basically be an animal. There is no rules of the world to stop women. Whatever she wants to do, she has to do. So the marriage is a bad institution in the modern feminism. The motherhood is weakness. Why women are having so much injustice that they have to be the mothers? Why we have to bear the pain of motherhood? See how much we are different? This is what they really want Muslims to be well actually informed, because you cannot be ignorant in this age. You have to know, and the power of knowledge is what makes us better than others. So there is the modern feminism is there is the most outspoken feminist. It's called Kabbalah T, and she has a website on the web. You can find it, and the feminist T, and that's a post-feminism. But she has so many enemies of the people who are against feminism. One of them is Benissa Banker, Susanna Banker. Benissa Susanna Banker. She wrote her book, Women Against Feminism, and she defeated the whole thing. There is so much on actually some interviews with her on YouTube. You can watch for yourself, and you can see how she talks about the sense of womanhood, how it's a very natural, beautiful thing, how motherhood means so much to women, and how these women are gone against what we call fitra, or nature. So there is a fight amongst them. So we don't have to repeat the same scenario and come to the Muslim world and talk about human rights. I just want to be very quick about that, and I move to our issue, real issue tonight. What we have a problem with is not the rights, because we have them. We do have the rights, but where are they? Can we do for them? See, about rights, there is an Islamic theory about life. When feminists go and seek and beg for their rights, Muslima, she has a different perspective. I call in Arabic, بدل طلب الحقوق أو المطالبة بالحقوق, we move to the stage of الاستحقاق. And it's a very Islamic concept. So instead of going and seeking and begging for your rights, deserve them. How do you deserve your rights? So there are three things that make you deserve your rights. Quickly, I'm just going very quickly, so if they ask me questions, I will elaborate. But right now, I'm really like have the knife aside. Number one, knowledge. If you have the knowledge, you're powerful. You're not weak. If you're knowledgeable, I'm not talking about information, I'm talking about ilm, knowledge. And ilm nur, because it will really, really make a way for you. If you're knowledgeable, nobody can stand in your way. Not jahl, not culture, nothing. Nobody can stop you if you have it. Second thing is skill. If you are a skilled person, then you deserve to be where you need to be. You deserve to be where you need to be. Because people, when you want to hire someone or you want to honor someone, you look to their ilm, you look to their skills. If you don't have those ilm and these skills, so how people can honor you? How can they look up to you? How can they respect you? You have nothing. Yes, they will respect you as a human being, because this is the norm. People are to respect each other. This is the language of Islam. Respect is an Islamic language. It's a basic Islamic language. Everybody should respect anyone regardless. If they have or don't have, rich, poor, weak, beautiful, not beautiful, everybody should deserve respect. But there are things, if you want to excel, if you want to succeed, if you want to be the best person, there are those things that Muslims need to know. You cannot beg for rights. Go get them. Go become a very knowledgeable person. Become a skillful person. If you know the art of communication only, you don't only become a great worker or a great student, also you become a great wife, you become a great mother, you become a great friend, you become a great person, simply because of one skill, the art of communication. If you have the art of listening, you become a better person, you become a better boss, or a better director, a better a leader, a better. So every other skill gives you a little bit of value. Okay? And that's how we want to talk about there is a solution for every problem in ilm. And that's why many conferences, many workshops, seminars are talking about issues of Muslims, women. Last week we had a conference in Malaya. It was about Muslim women in sustainable development in Malaysia. And why we put the word sustainable development? Because in Malaysia there was a plan to involve women, to get them out, to give them more jobs. But the issue was, now those women are complaining. We're out of the home. We are out of the luxury of household, the wife, the mother. I'm not anymore. I'm doing this and I'm doing the outside work. Are we happy? Now, are we happy because we are very successful and we are outside? Now, this actually was answered by research done by two researchers from the University of Pennsylvania. And that's very recent research. It says that happiness amongst women, those who think they're very achieving and they are very successful, actually it's getting minimal. From the 70s until now, the happiness of women is just decreasing dramatically. And the Americans are asking why American women are getting all what they want and they're not happy. So they're running to spirituality, to mediation, to all other alternatives to raise the happiness. But Muslims, we don't have this issue. If we run after them, we will get in the johar or in the hole that they got in. But we have choice. We're women of value. We know what we're doing. We have an agenda. We have a goal. We have a plan. We have to be aware. We are different. We understand what we're doing. So I don't like the girls just to raise their voice. Don't raise your voice. Do what you have to do. Don't even defend yourself. Don't be in the negative position. And let Sabah, as a lawyer, defend you in the court when there is an issue. And let the other one as a debater. But in life, you have to prove yourself to deserve your rights, to deserve respect. And I would like to, do I have more time to elaborate on a few things? So, the idea of the world is not fair. It's not for us. And therefore, I get into the main issue of tonight. The main issue of tonight, girls are complaining about some cultural issues. Now, do we agree that we have some cultural issues? I'll start with Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali rahimahullah. Our beloved Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali rahimahullah said something so beautiful about the sickness of this ummah. He thinks that the sickness of this ummah is in the taqafa, in the culture. We have a diseased culture. We have Islam, but we have something that is not healthy. We have some disease, and this disease has exploration, has symptoms. Symptoms could be headache, fever, stomach ache, and one of them is treating women very inferior. And this issue is there, and it depends which society you are. If you are in an educated society, it gets better. If you are in other societies, women in the Muslim world, you have to be honest and say the truth. Some women at this moment are still beaten by their husbands. If you don't know, you should know. Some women in the Muslim world still don't have the right to go to school. So how can I tell these women go and excel in knowledge and skills? She doesn't have that luxury that me and you may have. Okay? Some women don't even have the right to do anything in life. They have just to say what her brother or her husband or her father said. But alhamdulillah, this thing is changing by time, because as we treat the awareness level in the ummah, as the ummah gets more aware, gets more understanding of Islam, things get better. And you can see that for your own. However, the issue in UAE, let's go back to UAE. Just have some time, because I really enjoyed the videos about the girls. But by the way, that was too brave for you to come out with these videos and express yourselves. But however, I expect you to talk about your issues a little bit more deeply, because it's not only about pleasing the girls. It's like there are different issues. If you take issues and you analyze them, you will understand where the problem is coming from. See, in Islam we have two issues. We have two good things. Number one, we have husn al-dhan. Okay? This is a khuluq, right? It's a beautiful khuluq that we have. As a ummah, we don't master this khuluq. Usually people have su'u al-dhan. Different cultures, different levels. It gets a little worse when you go to rural places. It gets a little bit, I don't know how bad it is in some, place that is like more popular. It gets better when in universities, usually it's a little better. But however, there is an issue of husn al-dhan in this one. People usually will. Second opinion is that it's very negative. And that's why if the sister is standing with her brother, this happened to me, I don't want to say how many years ago. maybe 20 years ago when I was in UIA student, I was walking with my husband and people thought he's my brother because he looked like me. Alhamdulillah, so I was lucky. I was not with my brother and they thought he was something else. But people actually think things, but that's not an issue. That's not an issue. See, I gave a self-esteem workshop not long ago here. When the Muslimah is so sure of herself, she's doing the right thing for the sake of Allah, right? She's dressing properly for the sake of Allah. I said to the girls, hijab is to protect, not to attract. So if you spend half an hour in front of the mirror and you need to attract, when you go first in UIA, everybody will start looking at you. Between ourselves, like, we girls, we understand each other. I mean, we have to be honest with Allah Azza wa Jalla. We have to be honest with ourselves. What do I want when I dress? Okay, do I want to look good? Yes, we have the right to look good. You want to look like harmonic? You don't want to have like some, weird thing that people will make fun of you? Yes, we have that right. You want to look beautiful? Yes, you can look beautiful. But don't mean to attract. Because when girls, even she's totally in black, with her characters, with the way she walks, the way she talks, she can really make a mess. And if she means that. So this is left between us and ourselves and Allah. Nobody can judge. Nobody has the right to judge. But I meant to say that because as Muslims, we have to really give that value. This honesty, this ikhlas between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Now the second thing was when guys are following you all over the place. Well, it happens, unfortunately, it happens. And what do we call that? It's not gazing. Some people in the Arab world, in Algeria, they could like laser scan. When somebody gets you from your feet up to your head twice or 3 times. Unfortunately, I call that harassment. And it should be punished by law. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam actually fixed that problem for Muslims. When he said to Ali radiallahu anhu, Ya Ali, لا تتبع النظرة فإن لك الأولى وليست لك الثانية. You can watch, you can look generally, but you cannot gaze and follow girls. You don't like it for your sister, you don't like it for your mother, don't do it to the other girls. In the legal units, it should be an issue. Raising girls who have, she expressed herself, she said she cannot say that to her parents because they will worry. But she can take action and take it to the legal units. And maybe she could be very smart and go to their brother, Assalamu alaikum brother, can you introduce yourself to me? I need to know why you're looking at me, I need to know your name. And she takes his name and goes to the legal units. I would give that advice to my own. Because nobody has the right to follow girls. If you don't want to see your face, just go away. That's it. Okay? The other thing is judging girls. See, I mean, even some girls, they do the wrong thing. Also, there are some guys who do the wrong thing, right?
Yes.
Girls are just humans. And why it's good for guys, not good for girls? Girls, don't even bother yourself with this question. Bother yourself with one thing. How do I be the best, my best? Don't worry how others look at you. Because it's a self-esteem issue. When you start looking at yourself and looking at others, better have your evaluation done by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Have your checklist. Is Allah happy with you? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would agree with the way I act and I dress and I do things? Better have your checklist and look up to Allah Azza wa Jalla for his rida, for his approval. Don't look in the eyes of guys to make them happy, they will never be happy. Even they love you, they like you, they respect you, they will never be happy with you. And that's what we're looking. We are supposed to seek the rida of Allah Azza wa Jalla, not the rida of people, whether guys or guys. Okay? I will come to some final comments, but I think, in university discover who you are. That's when you know what's your mission in this world. That's when you ask the big questions, like Prof. Late said beautifully. The questions in Islam are the most beautiful things, and most of the questions were asked by women because women are so curious, and they are asking always questions. Teachers know. In the class, the girls asking more questions. That's a very healthy sign. Ask your questions. Ask your questions about who you are. What do you want? What's your goal in life? And don't get busy with very little things. Because see, when you offer respect, you get it back. So I disagree with girls who don't show respect and they treat people with rude manners and they expect people to give them back respect. Respect people, they will respect you back. And if they come and do some harassment, then I said the legal unit is there, inshallah. And I'm sure all the professors, all the people in the university will support you when you have the right. But I think we have to move a step, a little bit to a positive stage where we need to look as Muslims of value. I go back to the first point I raised. As Muslims of values, our big mission is to bring to the world a model of Muslimah. That is, she is very successful in her own way. She's not mimicking anybody. She's not following anybody. She's drawing her path on her own, in her own way, in her own understanding, seeking the happiness from her relationship and her connection with Allah Azza wa Jalla. So that's where the strength comes from. That's where the beauty comes from. If you're looking to become a beautiful woman because you're a strong woman, you're a woman of faith, you're a woman of value. So that's how you feel courageous, you feel confident, you feel liberated from people, and also you feel, inshallah, happy. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fadila. This is an important lesson that we should all take, whether we are female or male. Do not do anything to please others. Do not do it to please your friends. Do not do it to please the other half. Do not do it to please your neighbors, your society, even your parents. Follow the Islamic principles. Treat everyone with the greatest akhlaq and do everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now, don't worry guys, we haven't forgotten about you. It is important that whenever we talk about women, we do not forget the other half. So with that in mind, who can we invite better than the other half? We would like to call upon Dr. Naib to please go on.
والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. I actually don't want to go there because I want to give some people compound. I would like to stand and walk around so you don't sleep. Okay? If I stand there, I can see your head will be just fixed like that, and before you let all of you will sleep. Thank you very much. So I would like to give my just discussion. I will not call it a talk because actually when I was invited to speak on I said, do you think I really qualify? Or you got some complaints from my wife, so we want to start it here. Okay, I think I would like, I don't want to go back into a classroom where we have very, very academic staffs. So So I'll just share straight from my heart. From my heart to your heart. To the heart of the men, not to the heart of the women. Because my wives are around me. Okay, now first and foremost, gentlemen. Who is a gentleman? To me, a gentleman is a man who is gentle. Yes, because from my little experience and what I understand, if you are not a gentleman in yourself, you cannot be a gentleman to others. Not even to women, even to men generally, you cannot also be a gentleman. In Arabic, they say, "Fatar al-shay la yu'ti." Fatar al-shay la yu'ti. If you are not a gentleman by yourself, how can you be a gentleman to others, let alone to women? To women, a gentleman is someone who they like. That's someone's definition. No matter how arrogant or how whatever you are, if she likes you, she will call you a gentleman. Am I right? But in any case, there are certain things we can recognize, we can look at. Like I mentioned earlier, mashallah, the Torah has given us a very, very good perspective about the rights. And I remember this carefully when we teach ethics in particular. We have several theories in ethics. One of them is we talk about the theory of rights. Right? And the theory of rights, there are several other rights. Immanuel Kant has mentioned his part. And when you come to Islamic perspective, also we can talk about rights. Right? And everybody has a right. And my right is black right. What is my right? She asked, what is your right? Can you see it? Now these are critical questions. It's not a joke. It's a philosophical question. Whether you can really see your right. It's something very delicate. And in the West, it depends on where you stand to see someone's right. That's why nowadays we easily term a terrorist or term some other terms which you cannot use. And the definition is based on where you are standing. And that's the definition of right. Now I'm not going there because mashallah, the Torah has really enlightened that on that one. I will come back to my topic. Right? A gentleman, a man who is gentle. A man who is gentle. And a gentle person is someone who has qualified in several other aspects. One of them is he is humble in himself. A gentleman by right is humble. Okay? And being humble is not only a character that we learn maybe from books or anything, is one of the main fundamentals that Rasulullah has encouraged us to have. If you look at the hadith of Rasulullah, he says that إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Verily I have been sent to complete the noblest of manners. And any person who can exemplify some of the noblest, some of the manners, the good manners of Rasulullah, is the gentle person. And he is a gentleman. And same goes to our fellow sisters. The person who can exemplify, you cannot do completely 100% like the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but you do your best. You do your best, and the first thing in doing your best will come from your heart. Your heart and your intentions in doing things. Never mind, people will talk. You want to be kind. For example, I have cases in the Mahalla, some ladies complain, and when you talk to the guy, he says, no, I just want to help her. I just want to help her, and she thinks otherwise. Now, how can you tell? How can you tell whether you really want to help? Help in what sense? Help with capital H or small h? And if it's a small h, we understand. Is it the red line, underlined red ink, or double ink, or there are several ways we help. In any case, Allah knows your intention, and that's the first thing as a gentleman you must have. Be sincere in your heart. Okay, in your dealings, not only with ladies, even in your dealings with guys. Being too kind can be dangerous. And some of us have fallen in that kind of trap. You really want to be kind, but everything must have limits. You can be kind, but being too kind, it can be taken, to have some other meanings. Now the next thing, knowing yourself. Know yourself, understand who you are, and know yourself, like I mentioned. If you are not a gentle person in yourself, you cannot be a gentle person to some other people. Now, knowing yourself, you have to know yourself and know others. And this will, if you allow me, I would like to share with you just some research. I don't want to go back to the classroom, but I've been doing that for some years back. So I will go back a bit. I will just run away from it, but I will still come back to it. Let me go back to a research. Now, this research was conducted by one of our famous scholars. We call him Hassan al-Bashir, Dr. Hassan al-Bashir from Sudan. Now, he made a research based on the Western perspective. They said that the hadith of Rasulullah has insulted women. You know the hadith, right? And they said, how can Rasulullah insult women? He's really insulting women. What kind of prophet is that? He doesn't have, right and all these things. Now he conducted the research, right? And I will just mention a bit about it and also combine it with some other studies in psychology that we have read. Now he conducted research and he said that Salat al-Aql is actually a great respect to women and not the otherwise, if you really understand what it means. Is it time? If it's time, I will just say that Ustaz Dr. Let's say Alhamdulillah, because I don't have what to say. Okay, let me go back to my title. Okay, so Naqsat Aql al-Din. They are learned in terms of their religion and in terms of their mind. And he said, based on the research, and even psychologists and medical have proven, every person, there are two things in a person that makes a person complete. What are the two things? Who can tell me? 50 ringgit. No, I changed that. Did I say 50? Yeah, if you have? Or compound? No, not compound tonight. Tomorrow. Okay. Now the two things are our heart, their heart and their brain. Okay, each and every one of us here, if your heart and your brain is taken and put in a person, another person, he will behave exactly like you. Okay? You want us to die? We take your heart and your mind and put it in another person. It's okay, when we take it, I don't think we are mental association. Okay. When we have the heart and the mind of a person put in another person, you will behave exactly like the person. Now what does that mean? These are what controls and what defines who a person is. Now according to the research, it says men have over 70% control of the brain and 30% control of the heart. Combining together makes the person 100%. You can never have 120. Just like you can never have a CGP of 4.1. Okay? Then to the woman is the opposite. When we have 70% in the heart and 30% in the mind. And the 30% in the mind is not sub-aql. It doesn't mean they are stupid. If they are stupid, by sense that it means with your 70%, 30% in your heart, how should we call you? Heartless. As simple as that, heartless. But that's not the case. Now what it means, with the 70% in the brain, you have control of most of the very cognitive actions that we require to do. And most of this requires a person to take leadership. And based on that, we have Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna 'ala Nisa. And the Qawwama here, you need a very strong cognitive analysis to be able to lead. And for a woman to have 70% in her heart, it gives her what we call atifa. And with that, she is able to take care very well of their husband's household, including the children and others. Each and everyone has his own rights. I come back to the rights now. You have your own rights as a man, your hukuk, and then the woman also has her own rights. Now let's come back to something very interesting. How does the brain solve problems, and how does the heart solve problems? When you have so much headache of a problem, the same problem, give it to a woman and give it to a man, they will solve it differently because of their control of the brain and the heart. Now the brain will solve it by thinking, and the heart will solve it by talking. You agree? No, you have to agree. I'm not the one saying it. This is the research. It says that men solve problems by thinking, women solve most problems by talking. And if you want to know, look at our houses, look at our parents. When there is a problem in the house, who will nag about it? Our mother is doing all until the evening, then she sleeps nicely because she solved the problem. And what will happen to your father at that time? He will lock up himself in the room. You think he is sleeping, but he's thinking. But saying this doesn't mean it's a weakness or it's a strength for any of them. This is how they solve problems. Now coming back to who is a gentleman. If you're a student, and let's say you have a group, okay, a group of 5 students, 3 guys and 2 females, 2 sisters, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. And the problem is very challenging. What happens in a discussion? Can someone share with us? And this is where some women will think this guy is a gentleman or this one is not a gentleman based on how the guy understands women. You agree? She will start talking about the problem. You know, this problem is very difficult. You have to solve it like this, like that. You know, this one and then. And the guy will try to solve the problem. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. No, you know, the problem is like this. She is very good at pointing at the problem, but not that good at pointing at the solution. Now, as a guy who is a gentleman in court, what you have to do is understand the person, understand this is how women solve problems. You be patient and try to lead, try to show the way. Now, if you are able to do this, and how will you do this? By patience. Some guys who are considered not gentle at this instance will start to get angry and lose their patience and start to say so many things. I came actually, I didn't really get the video, but the guy there, I think is Mahal Al-Qaya. He's going to get a compound. It's okay. Let's leave it. All right. Now, Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, this is the case, and this brings me actually to my 3rd point. So the second point is, with all this story and all this research, I don't have time, I think I have to skip some of them. But the second point I just wanted to share, I shared with you just now, is as a gentleman, you need to know yourself, understand who you are, know how you deal with others. If you are dealing with brothers, be patient. If you are dealing with sisters, you have to be more patient because there are ways and there are means they follow to solve problems. We tend to easily lose patience, especially if you have, I don't want to go to that topic, but if you have married guys here, they can share with so many experiences in your lives, right? Something you think is not an issue becomes a whole mountain. Why? Because it's something you think is simple, but to women is not simple. And the same happens actually in our classrooms as lecturers, how we deal with students. Every semester I have dozens of cases of fights between brothers and sisters who happen to be in a group. The sisters will complain, this guy is like this, like so arrogant, yell at me, and the guy will say, it's nothing. I asked her for the issue, she keeps going back to the same thing, I don't like it, I hate it. You see that, and I asked him, brother, you have to understand, you have to be patient, this should be a training for you. At this time, at least think of how you solve problems with your own sister. And some of them will say, I don't have a sister, I have all brothers. Okay, fine, I understand. Okay, so what to do again? Okay, go and read. Sometimes it's very tough to give people some direct experiences. But in any case, if you have sisters at home, think of how you deal with them. okay, in a way, in a manner that they will be happy. A gentleman never wants to see a lady crying. But we do. Sometimes we do. Okay, sometimes we do, I understand, especially if you're married. Once you get angry and then give some look like that, then you start to cry. And then after a while, you have to understand, you make mistakes. We all make mistakes, no one never make a mistake. But once you know you have made a mistake, and especially in a group, when you have to be in a group with someone who is not your sister, you have to be very, very careful about 3 things. I think the first one is that our doctor has mentioned, how you gaze. You know, in ethics, in business ethics, nowadays in businesses, there is a way you gaze. It can't be a sexual harassment case. You gaze, you look like that, because we say, so the ula is prolonged for like 1 hour. Like this. Like that, you know, this is a joke. Actually, you are trying to tease. This is the mistake which you have seen, that's fine. But with the one you will have to go and gaze. The way you gaze nowadays, like Victor has mentioned, you look at the person, and then you come down, you go up again, and you go left and right. And not only to the guys, even to ladies as well. Okay, nowadays, now I actually have some report of some people who are gazing at me. I want to report now. Just kidding. But then, the ladies, I mean, our sisters also, how you also gaze, how you look at some people. There are so many gossips going on. But in any case, why? There are just gossips. Be sincere in your heart, in everything you do, alright? Okay, let me just mention this. I finish, okay? 5 minutes. If you like a lady, Victoria has mentioned, you like her, she does not like you, go away, simple. You are not the first to be rejected, and you will not be the last. Now the same thing goes to the sisters as well. The sisters also do stalking, right? The sisters stalking, it happens in both ways. It happens in both ways. The sisters also do, okay? Normally during the exam time, even Dr. Laith and others will tell you receive so many love letters, especially during the exam time. And this is stalking and actually harassment also to the lecturers. But anyways, they don't agree. But anyways, just sharing, right? Not only to the guys, but to the ladies as well. You like a guy, and you realize this guy does not like you, don't make a case. Simple. You'll never be the first person, and you'll never be the last person to be rejected. But what happens is, normally some guys cannot accept defeat. They will never accept defeat, and they will chase and become so crazy. And they realize they are crazy only when they see GPS start to fall from 4 to 1. Then they realize they have messed up big time. Please, just as an advice, the advice for myself and to all of us here, if, for example, you like a lady to get married for marriage, Allah knows your niyyah, and it's possible, there are so many who have got married since they were students. It's possible, but follow the right channel. It must be the right channel which you have to follow, and I'm not here to tell you what is the right channel. You know yourself. You know yourself what is good and how to channel your grievances. How to find your happiness in life. But at the same time, if, okay, you have to take a particular side and you realize this is not helping in any way, better way is to stop it. You don't stop it, it's really going to have a problem for yourself. And this goes even against the tenet of Islam. Put the paper there? I didn't see it yet. Alright? So I think I will just end here. I make it like this, a sharing moment. And if there is any question or answer session, inshallah we can have further discussion. Or for those of you also who want to have further discussion, you can come to Mahal al-Ruqayya, no compound.
ask Dr. Nail. It's important here that we understand why we brought this topic up. Why gentlemen in particular? Because we know that there are good men everywhere, and we are sure that in this hall, every man is a great man. However, to be serious here, many girls, female students, feel unsafe, unprotected, and mistreated. And that is a problem, especially when we are in a Muslim society, in an Islamic university. So what we want to say is that being a gentleman and being a gentlewoman is appreciating each other. Appreciating the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us differently and created us the way we are to complete each other. However, we do not want to judge anyone. We are not here to punish anyone, and we do not want to feel unsafe or unprotected. So please, sisters, be the best gentlewomen, modest that you can be, and please, brothers, be the best gentlemen and protectors that you can be. Now, before we go on to a question and answer session, I just want to ask Dr. Fadila what you think, because you have some comments.
Thank you very much for giving me the mic again. I think it's too late to talk too much tonight because people are getting too tired. It's not fair to make them wait longer. However, I will raise very quick issues here. When we're talking about gentlemen, my understanding, I'm a reader of Western literature, and when we say gentleman in the West, we talk about the guy who pay lunch in the first date, or the guy who opened the door for women. He could be the worst guy, he could be a drunk guy, but he's a gentleman simply because he opened the door a long time ago. He's like Tirshako. That was the gentleman from Western perspective. But I was waiting for people to talk about gentlemen, and he never mentioned a gentleman that I love so much and I wanted to talk about tonight. Our gentleman is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was not patient enough to wait for someone to say that the gentleman to follow and to the example for every other gentleman on earth is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a man who distributes his smile to everybody. He's the one who assured every woman around him and every man, but honestly every woman was feeling safe, respected, loved, cared for, kind to in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was feeling safe to express herself. She was feeling safe to live by. Every other woman was loving this example of gentleman. To the point, as all of you know, there's nothing new to say that each other woman was giving him as an example. Like when Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu refused something, his wife would say, how come in the household of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, women say no and they argue and they don't talk to him a long time, and then when they come and talk to him back, he doesn't say, hey, you didn't talk to me, now don't talk to me. So see, every other household knew that the gentleman is Rasulullah, and everybody was, and we still have that gentleman alive in our life. We still have this example forever. So that was a very major thing. However, I wish Dr. Nael did a very good job. Looks like he's very popular. I have to be very careful not to say anything to him tonight, so otherwise people will attack me. But I'll try to be nice and gentle and say something about something he raised tonight that I call a bit of stereotyping, even with his good intention. So labeling women to be emotional or men to be rational, that's a little bit what we call in French démodé. It's a little bit of an old issue. It's not there anymore. Yes, women are different from men. Women are different, and they have a different structure. They have different type of mind. But also there are studies, I'm sure you could read nowadays, and a very scientific findings about how the multitasking brain of women is considered to be very smart. And that's how she could be talking on the phone and cooking something on the oven, and she's holding the door with her at other foods, and she's thinking about something that she has up there, and she does not forget about my plate. And her eye is on one thing, and her other eye is on one thing else. That's extremely smart. And I don't want people to think women are not smart. And women scholars all over, I think Muslims, we're giving the wrong impression. We're being weak, we're being very negative, we're being behind, we're not being the Muslim we should be. That's why we're giving this impression. That's why I don't blame any other man to be, I don't think he meant anything, but I know he's a very good brother beside me here, but I hope these, judgments about women's mind and being emotional, there's some issues to do with communication. For example, women being angry or being something, nowadays I do quite a bit of counseling to people, and when I talk about people coming to me and husband and wife arguing or being angry at each other, the first thing I would say, I would not say be patient. I don't use that terminology anymore. Because the modern term of being patient is listen. Listen. He doesn't listen, she doesn't listen. That's why the problem happens. So it's lack of communication. When people listen to each other, they will know that my right would be looking their left. So it's just very different. We see things from different angles. And inshallah, in the sessions, I respect the time, so in the sessions, I will be inshallah answering your questions.
Thank you very much for both. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We don't really have much time. However, we will allow one question from the sisters and one question from the brothers. But please, or actually, one question only. So please make it short. Oh,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Doktora. I think I have to be a gentleman, so I'm very sorry. Okay, now the second thing I would like to mention, from the beginning, I made mention of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his hadith, which we say, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. And we have to remember this hadith. If you really want to be good gentlemen, we have to follow the example, right? Now, among the example, we're told about patience. Now, how we define patience is something else. I mean, it can come from several perspectives and several definitions. But patience, we know, is one of the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in several places in the Quran. Now, coming back to the issue Doctora has raised, thank you so much for that. That Ali has proven in some way, I'm not saying the emotional, yes. But I'm really grateful she has mentioned that. That is why from the beginning, actually what she has said is in support, a direct support of what I'm saying, which is to say that people from the West have this mindset and they have come across with several other perspectives, but this is the findings from a research, not from me, findings from particular research, and there are other research works as well. We don't have time to go there. In any case, this is the findings from the research. Now to say that naqisat al-aql, therefore they are less in the mind and this and that, it is actually not true. I can share with you a particular very, very famous research, a very famous study. And besides, if you really want to read further, there are other books. You can read the books of John Gray, Men from Mars, Women from Venus. This is actually from the Western. But in any case, if you would even to Islamic perspective, there are several things we can share. It's true, women are multitasking and men are just only one. If he's doing something, the woman talks, wait, let me finish this one. She talks about him, wait, let me finish. And this is the nature of men. It's because of how they do this. Women are multitasking, which we agree. They are multitasking because several reasons. Okay? Several reasons. Now, one of the reasons which we can share is in terms of the brain itself. Being multitasking doesn't mean you are smart. It's only part of your nature. And saying you are smart here is understatement. It's beyond smart. Only smart people can be multitasking the baby crying, holding the baby, frying an egg, at the same time taking something and talking to the husband on phone, and maybe now Facebooking at the same time. Okay, WhatsApping. Now these are issues which we cannot say because of these women are this, women are that. We're just sharing and expressing some recent views. We don't have time to elaborate further, but it's very true, and I really appreciate the view. We need to clarify before people might take a wrong perspective from here. A gentleman is a person who is gentle, and the most gentle person in the world who lived and is still living is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he has mentioned in a summary of hadith, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. If you want to be a gentleman, you go back to the hadith and go back to whatever the Prophet has said, how he behaved, even how he behaved and lived with non-Muslims, the Jews of his time. And that is the perfect gentleman which we have to follow his example. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we do not have time for question and answer session. However, we would like to everyone keep in mind we are both the creation, men and women are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He taught us and He taught us in the Holy Quran to respect each other and to protect each other and to be the best with each other. And with that, I hand over, we thank the VIP speakers, Dr. Khalil and Dr. Naib. Thank you very much. Please give them a round of applause. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, our respected speakers, for your meaningful advices. And thank you as well for our moderator, Sister Saba Rulwan. If you have any question, you can feel free to email Salam Club and they will answer you. And now back to videos. Well, we would like to show you an exclusive video for the International Islamic University of Malaysia, done by prominent figures around the world. So let's watch it.
Power, Peace, and Women to Women want to say hello and congratulate you and all the other members of your club. Keep up the good work. You're all future leaders. We can see all of you in elective office someday, and we're going to be counting on that because here on International Women's Day, it's critical to elevate the status. If you keep up the good work, and you always have a family here to empower peace and women to women. Good luck.
I don't understand why these brothers using heavy hands treat the homie like a million grand, but the real fan cock an open hand like an athlete in the wrong place. Hate originates from a deep dark lower state. Sister, don't waste your love on the screen. I got brothers making rain who will treat you like a queen. Work with you in a team because it's solid in the thing. Support your dreams, no issues with their self-esteem. I know you close your eyes and pretend it's not happening. Take your mind to a happy place, but the scars bring back all the memories. I know it's hard, but you got to keep it going now and with the breeze. Complicated, but you got needs. Find yourself a love like the prophet and Khadija. Sakina, I need to like a student needs a teacher. True love exists, but it don't involve fist. Girl, this is your test, and I love you like my own sis. That's a track. I've got a new album, I just announced my name is Jihad. I'm from the Brotherhood. And I just want to thank you very much for letting me talk today. So I'm driving, but I see no time to find time to do this video. But really, I appreciate you guys having me here on such an important day, International Women's Day. And we recognise this day here in Australia as well, because there's a big problem here in Australia with domestic violence. And just the treatment of women in general, we're not really where we should be. Of course, there's been a lot of improvement in the last century or so, but there's still a problem with men thinking that they're better than women, and there's still a lot of chauvinistic, sexist ideals out there, which we really need to break down. And that's why these conferences are so great. So thank you again for having me. The Brotherhood, we are ambassadors for this type of thing, and we're completely against domestic violence. And I say power to the people, power to the women. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the organisers of this event. Thank you for having us. Assalamu alaikum.
that we managed to collect from students among IIUM.
Survey.
Please welcome Brother Anas Yilman from Turkey to present it for us.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Respected sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You may have asked why I'm here today in the Women's Program. I would like to answer about that by reciting a small short verses from the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والمؤمنون والمؤمنات بعضهم أولياء بعض يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. The believing men and the believing women, they are guardians of each other. They enjoy good and forbid the evil. So I'm here today on behalf of all of my brothers to make sure to you sisters, to tell you that we really care about your rights. And with that, on behalf of you, we would like to raise your concerns as they are our concerns. But let us first thank our university, Islamic University, for offering us such an amazing, such a safe, such a comfortable life for us, especially for sisters. But we are only here today working hand in hand with the university to make IIUM more suitable for Muslim student sisters in this university. So we would like to raise biggest concerns that sisters here are continuously asking for solutions for it. So, alhamdulillah, we started to write a petition letter, which I would like to invite Sister Sabira Kadir from Sri Lanka to give us a brief details about these petitions. So please, Sister Sabira, take it here.
Please step aside on this. Assalamu alaikum. As Brother Anas has already introduced me, I'm Sabira from Sri Lanka. I'm a final semester student in law. With me here, I have issues that have been basically raised by sisters in this university. This has been based mainly after conducting surveys around the university. So we have gathered three main issues that are of concern presently. So I'm just going to explain these three main contentions that we would be presenting to the top management of this university. And also I am well aware that as we were passing this petition around, there were a lot of people who have quite misunderstood the wordings of this petition. So here I am to clarify these contentions as well. The first issue that we are raising is regarding the male workers, the male security guards, and usually the male staff who enter the female mahallas, sometimes unannounced. We are aware that the mahalla does announce and give this, announce before they come in, and so on and so forth. But there are some circumstances where these workers come in unannounced, assuming that an announcement that was made 2 hours ago is sufficient enough for them to walk in 2 hours later, going Salaam Alaikum, and that's enough, right? Where usually sisters are caught off guard in this position, and generally they're not in a state of proper aura. So this is a very displeasing situation for the sisters. As you know, our dignity and chastity is the most important for us. So this is one of the issues that we have raised in the first intention levels, right? The second issue, this is a rather sensitive topic. Now we are well aware how IIUM does go into great great extent to protect and secure the environment, make us feel safe, free and comfortable. Nonetheless, there are incidents, like most of the speakers have spoken about, where there have been brothers who have been stalking sisters, right? So at one point, sisters basically can't take it anymore. You say no, you reject, they don't get the point, so then you go to the relevant offices. Now when you go to these relevant offices within the university, this is the administrative staff, right? The people in charge, who are usually in charge of, maintaining security and so forth. So when you go to them, there have been instances where these sisters have been spoken to in a derogative manner. In the sense, when I say derogative, in the sense they have been accused of saying, maybe you initiated the system, maybe you smiled at him, maybe you gave a little more attention, maybe you did this, maybe you did that. Now this is what we say is not very helpful when a sister is in a situation, a very sensitive situation of this sort, where she's away from home, most often international students, she's away from home, she has no protection, sometimes no brothers in this university, no father to protect, and here we go to an institution and they accuse you of something of this sort. This becomes something very displeasing, right? And in regard to sexual harassment cases, now you can't speak to male officers directly regarding this, because it's a very sensitive issue, right? So one of the contention is we would raise this as an awareness, as the institution needs to bring in female officers who would be able to deal with sensitive issues of this. That's the second contention. Now the third contention is in regards to the most controversial issue that we have been told of. This is in regards to, I don't mean to offend any lecturers here when I say this, but it's something that needs to be said. There are students we know of who do not comply to the dress code per se. Now we're not saying there should not be a dress code. International Islamic University does expect us to follow that dress code, and we agree. We totally concede to that fact. But the fact of the matter is, we disagree on this point. The point where lecturers humiliate students who do not cover well enough in front of their classmates and in front of guys. So this, we believe, is not the proper manner to go about. If lecturers feel that this sister is not covering her outer properly, maybe there are different means and ways to do so. In the sense, you could probably take her outside her class, after class, or get a female lecturer to address this situation. Right? So basically, these are the three main issues that we are going to be presenting in the petition for today. I hope all of you agree with these three main issues, especially sisters. And I have that acknowledgement in regard to that. So they do agree. Right, so in conclusion, I would now present this petition on behalf of the students of IIUM to our famous Student Representative Council, and we do this with utmost faith that they would ensure, along with the cooperation of IIUM's top management, that inshallah by the next International Women's Day 2015, all issues will be resolved So please welcome Sister Sharaf on stage, who is today representing the SRC's International Bureau for today.
Thank you very much, Sister Sabira. Yes, of course, we believe that this issue will be not solved in one night, but we urge that serious steps should be taken to overcome this, inshallah. And we want to sincerely thank Sister Sakina, the head of the residential office. She's really took this matter seriously, and she were very helpful with us. Before I leave this stage, I would like to share with you a short line of poems that I like and I want to share it with you. Islam shows equality, my sisters and brothers. Don't forget paradise lies at the foot of your mothers. Women in the West had property rights from 1938. This right was given by Islam 14 centuries to date. In the UK, women started to vote in 1918. This was stated 1400 years ago in Islam, our deen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
As well as thank you, Sister Sabira. And now we come to the important and amazing part of our event for today. Alright, in a couple of minutes we are going to have a platform. We are going to present and highlight different serious issues, around 12 to 13 issues that have been faced by women around the world. But I would like to forget about the script for a while and just give you a thought. All these issues, 12 issues, may not be faced by your own. I have been raised by a great-grandfather, Dr. Jamal, and I have two gentle brothers. I have never faced any kind of problems, alhamdulillah. So this is a blessing. But being an educated student, that doesn't mean you have to turn your back and neglect others. That means you have to advocate for the voiceless. And at the same time, you have to look to the positive side. We are here to point that there are some serious issues around the world, but at the same time, we are appreciating every single great man in our lives. And those guys, those great men, who are the reason to make me the person who I am today. So that's it. Thank you. Have the flashback.
شو هتشعلطه ولا
شو لا في سبوت لايت
يعني عتمة كتير صعب.
The story of a young woman who stood up to rise, to understand the problems that women are facing. She fought to realize that her future stands still with a lot of problems. She was bleeding out of anger. She she felt that she was rejected. Honor killing is one of the problems that women are facing. Learning and stalking, where women do not feel safe and secure. Women are being subjected as children since they're born from the day one. Women around the world have been deprived from education. Question is, will the suffer continue? A young woman was wondering what is happening. Her father passed away. And even during that time, it's time to give her her inheritance. Yet, she has been deprived of that. High dowry that have been forced by fathers, which made women even becoming as goods to be sold. Promotion, or even applying for a job, where women are looking down and degraded. Forced child marriage. A lot of countries around the world. The young women still wonder, do we have hope? Do we have hope? A moment of doubt. A moment of thinking. It's time for me to rise. It's time for me to take up my life. It's time for me to change the world. It's time for me to give hope for the future. It's time for me to give love. It's time for me to uphold human rights. Sharing, empowering, love, and compassion. It's time for me to show respect. It's time for me to show brotherhood. It's time for me to stand. It's time for me to stand up and say, even if I'm a female, my father would be proud of me. It's time for me to show love and compassion. It's time for me to work as a female and respected and judged only by my job. Not because of my scarf, not because of I'm giving education, not being public education. My empowerment, fathers are giving books to their own daughters. Hope spreads with the wings of the power, educated women who would stand up for themselves and for the others. One case after the other, one problem after the other, we stand up and say, let's all help up women. Giving the hope for the woman to get her own property without even her brothers. Giving women the right to decide on their own marriage and not forcing high dowries only because of out of greed. Let's all share hope. Let's share hope that women in their office, by the time they ask for promotion, it will be given to her without giving priority to other gender just because it's a children who've been forced to get married and give them the right to their childhood. It's true. Hope is the eyes of tomorrow. Hope is in the eyes of every woman. Let's all give them a big round of applause. I would like to highlight one thing, that the person who worked very hard to ensure that these cases will be raised is a Syrian sister, Sister Ola. Sister Ola is not an ordinary girl. Sister Ola's uncle passed away last week in the prisons in Syria. The first day we started working, the next day, she got to hear that her own grandfather was killed and tortured in prison. She did not step back. We asked her that she should get time with her family. She decided to be with us today to share our cases because she truly believed that a woman problem is every single one of us. And it's time to stand for all these cases and try our best to create hope. Let's all give her a big round of applause. And let's all hope that her relatives are resting in peace in heaven. And let's recite Al-Fatiha for them. Thank you very much. And now, let's all the three young sisters and Ola's sisters. Let's all stand up for them and show respect to the great work that they've done, to the great time. Sorry. We still have a couple of minutes. Could you please be seated? Well, have you ever wondered what are the real inspiring stories behind every familiar faces that we meet in campus? In the coming video, we are going to show you the real stories and struggles behind every familiar smile you see on campus. Let's watch it. Bashir Swaiti, Deputy Rector of Internationalism, Promotion and Scholarship, on the stage, accompanied by Brother Ahmed El-Haj, the President of the Salam Club, and Sister Aslan Al-Hussein, the Vice President of the Salam Club. And lastly, our Program Manager, Sister Swaiti. Please be welcome.
invite the VIPs for refreshment, so please reward them.
حياكم الله دكتور، نورتونا. اهلا وسهلا دكتور.